show is 25 years old now, Rece. Is that kind of crazy to think about game day being here 25 years later now?
It's a remarkable milestone. I don't think that the people who started on the road even recognized what this would become in terms of its significance in the college football landscape and how fans relate to the show, which we're extraordinarily grateful for. And even more grateful that it endures and that we can come back to one of the great places in all of college football and have a tremendous crowd on Saturday morning. Looking forward to starting another season.
Did it make sense to come back to here, to South Bend, being at this 25th,
I don't think, honestly, that's just a happy coincidence because this game and having a game of this magnitude on campus with the historical significance of the two sides, and they haven't played in a while, and what's at stake for both teams, and how this game can define their aspirations for the season. Not completely, but it can certainly put one on a good path and put one on a path where there's not a lot of room for error. So I think all of those things were a greater factor, but it was a nice coincidence that we're back on campus where the first show was 25 years ago when they first left the studio.
Kirk mentioned last night on the telecast that this is the first time in a couple years you're actually on a campus to start the opener, usually like in Dallas or some crossover place like that. Is it nice to be opening up on an actual college campus this year?
For sure. We had always rather be on campus because that's what makes college football unique. There are venues, there are places, there are sites on campus that we can show maybe for 5-10 seconds in a bump, going to commercial break or coming out of break, that an alum goes, I did this here. Or you get a really good look at the Word of Life mural, which some like to call Touchdown Jesus, and they get to see it in a different way. I mean, everybody's seen it on TV, but maybe then you see the crowd around, get a little feeling for the proximity of it on campus. And I think those things you can capture that are unique to college football that you can't find, even as great as the neutral site venues are. You don't get that same feel when you're there. So it's always, I'd rather be on campus.
For you, what does this rivalry mean to college football?
When you think back, and I love the history of the sport, when you think back that Michigan first came to Notre Dame and had a little practice ahead of time and taught them the rules, and then you have everything that you want in a great rivalry. You have that context, you have some animosity, you have championship-defining moments, you have Heisman Trophy-defining moments, and then you have enough snippiness between the two sides that, well, we just won't play for a while, and then they come back and play again. And so all of those things, I think, sort of give you every aspect of a rivalry that you want, and some of it even serves to fuel it because it never gets old. It never, well, here they are playing again. I know it would be better if they played every year, but sometimes these breaks and the reasons behind the breaks have almost added to the aura of the rivalry. So I think it's a huge part of college football, and I'm glad they're playing. I hope they continue to play and they continue to have a little animosity toward each other.
To go from growing up watching the show to hosting it now, what's that like?
Well, I was already, by the time it took to the road, and I appreciate you saying that because I think you think I'm much younger than I am. But by the time the show went on the road, certainly I was aware of it because I grew up college football in my DNA. But I was already in broadcasting. I was working professionally, so you didn't. I was working. At the time prior to my time at ESPN, so you didn't always make an appointment viewing because I was covering a game, someplace. So I certainly have great respect and admiration for the growth of the show. But I was kind of, even by the time the show started itself, it was late in my college years, and then by the time it was on the road, I was working in Flint, Michigan already, doing television. So it's a little bit different, but in terms of answering your question about hosting the show, I mean, I have the best job in television, and I recognize that, and I wouldn't trade this job, at this point in my career for any other. It's it's fun. It lets me cover something and be involved in something that I love and care about in college football, and I get to do it with an unbelievable group of guys, not just on the set, but our entire crew. We've got 60, 75, maybe more people all told that are part of this family every week, and for us to be able to go out and put on the best show we can and try to keep it fresh and that if I'm the guy that's hosting it and leading the way, that's very gratifying, and I enjoy it.